Welcome to Sex Positive Gaming. Today, we're going to look at 10 awesome games with a college theme. This is currently one of the most popular flavors over the last year, so there were a lot of titles to choose from. Now, this list is only going to cover games that take place in colleges, not games that are obviously in a high school that say they are colleges. I've covered many of these titles over the last 7 months, so I will have all those reviews and other details listed in a public Patreon post you can find linked in the video's description. There is also a link to the list of all the games I have reviewed and talked about if you're looking for a specific title. First up is College Bound. I covered this slice of life harem visual novel back in June. The story revolves around if you stay faithful to your girlfriend or not. The developer, Foz, is consistent with almost weekly updates, and it is free to play the previous month's releases on their Patreon. This is a male heterosexual experience with really good but silent animations and almost 24 women to potentially interact with. College Bound is available for PC and Mac on Steam and their Patreon. Next up is College Kings. I reviewed this comedic harem visual novel at the end of June when Act 2 released on Steam, and Act 3 is scheduled to release at the beginning of October. The game has a lot of interesting gameplay mechanics, and the sexual interactions are animated but silent. Act 1 is free to play on Steam if you are interested in exploring this male heterosexual experience, available for PC, Mac, Android, and SteamOS. I haven't reviewed our next title, College Life, yet because there have been numerous development pauses over the past year due to the same thing that has caused the entire planet to have development pauses. This is actually a pretty fun RPG Maker title that currently has a decent amount of content. The game has multiple pursuable female love interests, and there are a lot of stats to level up like confidence, communication, kissing, spine, and strength, as well as your ability at your various classes, and of course, how skillful you are with sexual interactions. Some of those interactions are animated, but they are silent. College Life is available for PC and Mac on their Patreon. Another title that I haven't reviewed yet is Acadia University. This is a completed femdom-focused male protagonist visual novel that actually reminds me of the prison school manga. There are 4 endings and 4 main teachers to interact with. There are no animations, but there is some limited voice acting in the form of noises, but no dialogue. This is a shorter game, but it is completely free to play. Acadia University is available for PC and Mac on itch.io. Next up is one of my earliest reviews and the current #1 college-themed game, Being a Dick. This is a case where solid gameplay, great silent animations, and a decent story are all that it takes if you have the right flavor combination. This carefree, rowdy harem adventure can seem almost cartoonish at times, but Being a Dick gives a fabulous selection of flavors, characters, collectibles, and minigames in a well-polished package. Season 2 was announced on Steam in August, and it looks like the final chapter of Season 2 is almost complete on Patreon. Being a Dick is available for PC, Mac, and SteamOS on Steam and their Patreon. I covered our next title, WVM, in March. While this is yet another college harem visual novel, the 2 biggest differences that WVM brings to the table are a trans-optional main romanceable character and that everyone is nice. I mean, in most of these games, the main character and those surrounding them tend to be jerks. WVM is a much more chill harem experience where everyone can get along and no one has to be a douchebag. Looking at you, Being a Dick. This low-key college adventure is low stress, has smooth but silent animations, and has like a crazy number of potential romantic interactions. I mean, I know this game is college basketball themed, but I didn't expect a Wilt Chamberlain level of sexual partners. WVM is available for PC, Mac, and Android on their Patreon. Next up is the completed male homosexual furry harem adventure, Knight's College. This is a card-based system where conversations you have and choices you make will unlock cards representing new topics, locations, and actions. The hand-drawn art is really good, and there are some animated sexual interactions, but they are silent. Check out my full review later this week. Knight's College is available for PC on Steam. So I covered our next title, Love of Magic, late last month, and Book 1 is absolutely a college harem experience. With Book 2, the story moves pretty drastically away from the college setting, and I have no idea what to expect with Book 3. I was going to compare the differences between Book 1 and 2 to the differences between The Princess Diaries and The Princess Diaries 2, but then I realized that I might be missing my viewing demographic. Anyways, Love of Magic has everything you should hope for from college. Great music, beautiful animated sexual partners, degenerate gambling, and dungeon crawling. Love of Magic is available for PC, Mac, Android, and SteamOS on Steam, itch.io, and their Patreon. Next up is the 2020 harem release, My Cute Roommate. This is the story of going to college and discovering that you have a rare medical condition that requires you to have sex with 10 women in order to avoid dying. This seems to be a world without sex workers, which does massively complicate this totally reasonable problem. Fortunately, your new roommate and basically every other female in the game have really poor judgment and decision-making skills, so you have a chance. Spoilers. The sexual interactions in this game are animated with sound, but be aware that some of the gameplay and minigames can be challenging. My Cute Roommate is a completed title available for PC, Mac, and Android for free on their Patreon. And finally, we have the slice of life law school adventure, Twists of My Life. I covered this completed visual novel earlier this week, and while there are 7 main romanceable female characters, this is the only non-harem game on the list. I really liked how each of the potential romanceable characters had their own set of flavors, so who you pursue really changes the type of animated sexual interactions that you experience. Twists of My Life is available for PC, Mac, Android, and SteamOS on Steam, itch.io, and their Patreon. There you have it. I had no idea how many college games were also harem flavored. I also didn't realize that this theme was almost exclusively filled with male protagonists. Why do you think the college flavor is currently so popular? What games would you like to see added to the next list? And can we get some new DAS backgrounds for these games? I'm kind of getting tired of seeing the same parks, classrooms, and houses. And as always, no shaming, just gaming. Thanks to all this month's supporters on Patreon. I wouldn't have been able to do this without you.